Look at those anvils. That guy, the modern one, about 50 years old. This one, about 100 years old. And that walker made about 140 years ago. And here is my question: which anvil is better? I was born in Linovitsa, Ukraine, not too far from Chernobyl, so naturally I was 7 feet tall and had completely white hair like a herald. Here is my village, and here is Chernobyl. About an inch between. Very close. But a hard life brought me down to 603, and my hair got a little darker. Still blonde though. That's a joke, of course. I have a degree in metal art from Kiev, trained of Russian blacksmiths for years after that, and I've been doing this for 17 years. So when I talk about tools, I'm not talking from the internet, where I come from. The value of a tool is perceived a little differently than here in the States. And that's a culture shock I'm still getting used to. Because when resources are limited, you think 3 times before buying something new. You choose carefully, you fix what you have. But a lot of the drama I see here I never saw back home. And to be fair, there is plenty of things we do back home that would look just as strange to American. But that's a whole other video. Today I want to talk about this one, right before we get to the anvil test. If you just want the answer, no philosophy, no stories, skip to the time codes below. I'll tell you straight. But if you ever spend money on a tool thinking it would fix the problem and it didn't, that video might save you the next one. I've been doing this for 17 years. I made that mistake with real money on the line. And I'm going to tell you exactly what happened. I go to fairs, craft shows, and I've noticed a pattern. Kids walk up to my table and ask, why does the anvil looks like that? Why does the owl's face looks that way? How do I make that pattern shinier? They want to understand the thing itself, the form of the thing, the shape of the thing. Adults walk up and ask, how much does that anvil weigh? Or how old is that? And I'm not judging, I just think something happens to us when we grow up. We stop asking why and start asking how much. I'm in the shop every single day and I see tool worship everywhere. People discuss hammers for hours. The surface, the weight, the brand, with the same energy people use to name their firstborn. But I have never, not once, heard that same conversation about the work, the idea, the form, what someone is actually trying to make. Never. And that's strange to me, because the tool is just the means. But it gets way more airtime than the result. I have a couple stories for you. So, the festival story. I'm running a demo, working on someone else's equipment, forging with kids, which is always great time. Kid picks up the sledgehammer, works with me, I'm cracking jokes, people are watching, recording, and it's basically free marketing. And then the equipment owner walks over and says, hey, don't hit the anvil so hard, it's new, you'll leave marks. I didn't argue, his gear, I stopped, but inside I froze. If the anvil is afraid of being hit, what exactly is it for? That's like buying a cast iron skillet and saying, don't put it on heat, it might get discolored. Man, that's the whole job. That's literally its entire personality. If you are a blacksmith, drop a comment, is it normal? Because I genuinely don't know. And since we are on the topic of don't hurt the anvil, let me explain how anvil restoration actually works, because there is a lot of unnecessary drama around this. Any anvil, regular shop, no specialist required. You need a welder. I use MIG with a standard wire. Stick works too. Step 1. Build up the surface with weld. Step 2. Angle grinder, fiber discs, just flatten it out and done. I fix my Powerhammer's bottom die every 6 months. Some principle, it's essentially an anvil. I'm running high volume, like thousands of table legs a month. Even hardened steel starts deforming after 6 months or that. It's okay, it's normal. I fix it in couple hours, it works again. We once bought an anvil in completely destroyed condition. That one. Few hours of work, 9 months later, and you can see still running fine. And here is what surprises people. MIG welds often hold up better than original metal under impact. So the whole don't hit it, you'll ruin it conversation. I've tried to understand it. I genuinely can't get there. Now here is a story where I was the problem. It's a fuck-up story. I was running two shops at the same time, different cities, about 3 hours apart. Each one covered a different region. It made sense for the business at that time. The second shop ran on hired workers. My system was simple. I designed everything, drawings, 3D models, full specs, bought the materials, wrote out the process step by step, came by once a week to check and fix issues, and it worked well until it didn't. We had a project, a spiral staircase, a high-end finished interior. That was the biggest challenge. The kind where every condition point is maybe 1 square inch. Everything had to line up to the millimeter. I designed it around the specific rolling machine we had. Soviet era, old, but ours. My employees couldn't get the right radius week after week, wrong curve, wrong shape. When I came in, they told me it's not because of us, it's the rollers. The machine can't do it, it's too old. And I believed them. The deadline was real, the client was waiting, so I sent the parts out to another shop, one with the modern machine, new equipment, the whole thing. Paid them roughly half of the total budget of the staircase. You can probably guess what happened. They came back worse, wrong curves, kinks in the metal, worse than what my guys had produced. So I cleared 3 days, went in myself and bent every single piece on the same old Soviet machine. Perfect, every one of them. The machine was never the problem. The money was gone, the time was gone. I finished the job at a very serious loss. And the lesson cost me real money to learn. The machine doesn't know how to do it. The person does, or doesn't. And here is another story, don't worry, smaller, but same pattern. We had a 150 kg Powerhammer, needed some work, so instead of fixing it, we bought the second one, 50 kilos. Seemed logical at the time. Eventually we got around to fixing the big one, and once it was running properly, it was so good, it was best of the best. I never had better hammer, so we basically stopped using the smaller one entirely. It was still sitting there when I closed that shop, right before I moved to the States. Expensive real estate till the very last day. The answer usually isn't another tool, it's fixing what you have sometime or replacing it, but instead of, not in addition to. Otherwise, you are not building a shop, you are building a storage you need with better lighting. I know one guy, real person, he collects machinery and including power hammers, standard working hammers, buys them, puts them in the storage. They don't run, they just sit. When people say, sell one, someone actually needs it, he says no. And I keep thinking why? Because I know that many craftsmen who genuinely need equipment, who can't afford it, who are doing things by hand because prices are out of control, and prices are high partly because people are buying up tools not to use them, but just to own them. I get collecting rare things, but when you are hoarding working equipment, that's not passion for the craft, that's a storage you need with the backstory. Sounds familiar? Why this happens? I think I understand why people do it. Buying something instant, you click, it arrives, you feel like you moved forward. Building a skill is the opposite. It's slow, it's frustration, you are alone, you mess up, you do it again. There is no progress bar. So buying the tool feels like a progress. It's a shortcut that looks like the real thing. But here is what 17 years taught me. The tool doesn't close the gap. You do. And once you understand that, many things get simpler. Also more expensive, because now you actually think things out, which means you are actually working, which is the whole point. When the tool matters more than the skill, the work suffers. You get afraid to scratch it, afraid to hit it, afraid to mess it up, or you overcomplicate everything when simpler would have worked fine. A great tool is great, but it doesn't make you a craftsman. It doesn't make you professional. Same way, a great knife doesn't make you a chef. It just means you spend more money on dinner preparation. A tool is an amplifier. If you have the skill, it makes you better. If you don't, it just sat there, functional, paid for, but unused. If you have the skill, it makes you better. If you don't, it just sits there looking expensive. So back to the question, which anvil is better? You still think that's the important question? It doesn't matter how old they are. They both work just like any other anvil. The question was never about the tool. The question is whether you know what you are doing. Again, I'm not against good tool. I'm against using them as substitute for skill. Please leave a comment, be honest. If you had to choose a perfect tool or a serious skill, which one would you actually pick?